What's up guys, I'm Nick and this is Build That Build. And today we're gonna put the X back in sexy and xTool. That's right guys, today we're gonna talk about why you need a laser engraver in your life. So about 9 months ago, a company reached out to me and wanted to send me a diode laser. At that point in time, I'd never used a laser in my life, but it sounded cool, and at that point in time, I was looking at ways to personalize woodworking gifts. After assembling and reviewing my very first laser, the Ortura LaserMaster 2 Pro, I was hooked. I can't explain the satisfaction of loading up a file, getting your settings just right, and creating something on one of these bad boys. I always joke that I wasn't into lasers until I got a laser, and now I don't know how I live without lasers. And in the last 9 months or so, I've had the opportunity to review probably almost a dozen different diode lasers, or different lasers in general, I guess. I'll link to those review videos here if you want to check them out. But when it comes to diode lasers, I keep coming back to one machine, and that is the xTool D1, this unit right here. But first, let's talk about why you want a laser at all. I think lasers got more popular right about the time the pandemic hit, because it was a hobby you could do from your house, and you could make money doing it. And since that time, I've made money making keychains. Little, for you Ozark fans out there. Laser engraved tumblers, anybody? These things sell like hotcakes. Hotcakes! Engraved glass in both black and white. Truer words have never been engraved on a mug. Laser cut signs. Laser cut earrings for the ladies. And even some really cool horror inspired art on canvases. The truth is, I could go on and on about the things that you can make with a diode laser, but I think that's what makes it so appealing to so many people. Also, did I mention that you can make money doing this? Some folks out there might say, Nick, why a diode laser? Why not get a CO2 or like a fiber laser? The biggest part of that is money. Those are gonna be way more expensive. I always refer to the D1 as a gateway laser. So think of diode lasers as your new fix, and I'm your pusher. So it's my job to get you into your first laser. What you do with that afterwards is totally up to you. I may have a slight laser addiction. The xTool D1, that is the Jinmitsu Comgrow Z1. I just did a review on that. I have the Niji 3 Max, which is really cool. It's got a bigger frame on it. More lasers that I haven't reviewed yet. What? That one right there is the one that started it all. What up, Vincent? This big beast is my CO2 laser, or I would call my production laser. And that's not to mention the lasers that I've given away, the lasers that I have on the way. It's a Laser Nation, baby. Hashtag Laser Nation. So let's talk about why I landed on the D1. The first thing would be its modular design. It goes together in like 15 minutes. Not gonna lie, my first laser took me about an hour to put together. The second selling point was it's the first 10-watt laser I got. Everything before that I'd used was 5 watts. So this could cut thicker material, it ran faster. It was what we call beefy. And third, a lot of people have a love-hate relationship with, but I really like the fact that they have their own proprietary software that just gets you kind of up and running. I mean, it's no light burn, and I wouldn't suggest you live in LaserBox Basic forever, but what it allows you to do is get this unit, assemble it, and start engraving something in under an hour. So I would suggest just checking LaserBox Basic out to begin with, and then dip your toes into light burn. Now, let's talk about the big complaint about the D1. And it's not limit switches. You don't need limit switches. Biggest complaint I've heard to date is about their customer service. Now, I've never had an issue with this, so I've not experienced this, but some people have said that their customer service isn't great. I can tell you a couple of things that may or may not set your mind at ease. One, most of the diode laser companies that I've dealt with that are in Asia, their customer service is just about the same across the board. What a lot of people don't realize is that since they're in Asia, you send them an email during your 9 to 5, they're probably asleep. I would also say that most people that have been in this situation have said that they've sent multiple emails. I would like to know what the time frame was in between those emails, because if it's not reasonable, you're just adding to their backlogged email queue. I blame Amazon. Damn it, Bezos! And in the vein of customer service, there's been a lot of complaints about people not getting their items on time. If you look at their website, they do tell you it's gonna be about 15 to 30 days before you get something. And there's been a bunch of supply chain issues that have been a lot of the cause of these problems. But the good news is that xTool is aware of the issue and they are working on it. Keep in mind that they're a small company that had a product just blow up. Now, one of my favorite things about xTool is the fact that they continue to innovate. This is version 1.0 of the rotary tool. This is version 2.0. Meet the RA2 Pro. This handsome little devil here is just bonkers. This is the first chuck rotary, I believe, for any diode laser, and it's compatible with most diode lasers. So this configuration right here is so you can do spherical objects, like Dolly here. These chucks make it easy to do cylindrical objects and stuff with a handle, like this. Still true. Not to mention you can still put the original rollers back on it for just regular objects. There's an extension kit if you want to do things that are long and cylindrical, like a baseball bat or
Yo mama.
And they even have the 3D print file for the feet of the chuck available online for you. So if you want to make your own feet for the chuck, if you have a 3D printer, of course, you can just download that file and
get funky.
And what's most beautiful of all is they continue to innovate. Ladies and gentlemen, I have in my hands a 20-watt diode laser. As far as I know, this is the first 20-watt diode laser on the market. We're gonna kick the tires on it right now. You guys had some concerns about the 20-watt laser because the laser beam itself, the dot, was gonna be like a little bigger. You weren't sure if you were gonna be able to get as good of a detail as you could with the 10 watt. We're gonna do a little shootout today and find out. And this being Build That Build, no science required.
Or allowed.
If you've been around the channel for more than a minute, you're probably familiar with the process that I'm about to do. I'm gonna do the indelible white tile method. Another name for it, but that shall not be named, because Nicky Norton kicked me out of his laser group because I called one of his admins an asshole. He really was an asshole though. And actually, I wouldn't classify this as that method anyway because I'm using a different product. What I'm using is charcoal glass by Enduramark. This stuff is so much easier than doing the spray paint method. It sprays on like spray paint, but it's actually kind of more of a powder. It dries in minutes and it washes off with water. I mean, come on. And if you ask me, it gets a much better result than spray paint does. Those would be ready in like 5 minutes. I say 5 minutes, but stuff actually dries in like a minute, 2 minutes tops. I'll link down below to a promo code if you guys want to check this stuff out. This is the only stuff I ever use anymore. It's just the result is that much better. And while we're preparing to shoot lasery goodness all over your pretty little faces, I thought it would be a good time to say thanks to our sponsor. And who might that be, you ask? That's right, it's me. I'm sponsoring myself today. Who are we kidding? We don't have sponsors. So how does the channel keep lobbing knowledge bombs at you? That's right, Patreon. So I want to say thank you to all my patrons, especially my Boilermaker or top tier patrons. Stephen Mann, Eric Weiss, Chuck Faulkner, Derek Coates, Puffy Muffins, Andy the Viking, Christopher Walters, Todd Stewart, Paul Christensen, and Jason Ayers. Thanks, guys. You rock. And I almost forgot to shout out our brand new latest patron, Tyler Brewer. Baby heads to you, buddy. Whoop. And thanks to the rest of you for sticking around till this time in the video. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I'm getting very close to 100,000 subs and that would just be awesome. Also, if you haven't had a chance to go check out my Patreon page, I'll link it down below. Go check it out. Join up if that's your thing. Now,
let's do this.
That thing thing is smoking fast. So by utilizing that extra power and speed for the 20 watt, that engrave happened about twice as fast. And anybody that does tiles will tell you the problem with tiles is they take so long. But one of the biggest concerns I've heard about the 20 watt is the fact that the laser point is not as small as it is with the 10 watt. The 10 watt is 0.08 millimeters by 0.08 millimeters. 20 watt is 0.08 millimeters by 0.15 millimeters. So it is significantly bigger in laser land. So let's take a look at the results and see if we can really see a difference in detail. Okay, without me telling you which one's which, I want you to guess if it's the left or the right that's the 20 watt. Put it in the comment down below. Don't cheat. Okay, now let's look closer at these. I'm gonna hold this up so it doesn't get as much of a glare, but the detail in this hair is crazy good. All right, and then you've got this guy, same thing. Just these nice little details. You can really see the braiding really well. This is the 10 watt. It looks pretty good, but I gotta say, man, I think, now you can argue settings to a certain degree, but I'm not seeing any reduction in the quality of the image. And damn, that looks good, dude. Johnny. But this result looks flippin' amazing, dude. Check that out. But what do you think? 20 watt, 10 watt. Beauty of it was the 20 watt ran at what? Twice the speed. We could run at 6,000 millimeters per minute at 60% power. Whereas with the 10 watt, we had to run 2,700 millimeters per minute at 65% power.
That's what the kids call cray cray.
But what do you guys think? Is the 20 watt worth it? Let me know. I think it's 100% worth it. When I mentioned that my CO2 laser is my production laser upstairs, so I call it my production laser because it's quick. So most of the things that I sell, I actually cut on my CO2 anymore. But the additional speed that's provided by the 20 watt module actually puts us in contention to be a very good production style laser. And that makes it cuckoo bananas crazy. And xTool is continuing to innovate with an enclosure coming out soon. They're in the process of coming out with extended rails for this thing. So I can't wait to see what's next from xTool. All right, guys, I hope I provided you with a little bit of information. I hope you're gonna run out and buy yourself one of these magical devices. Now, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Thanks for playing. Now I gotta get to work. Woo! I'm Nick, and this is Build Dad Build, a place where we put... I love it when I turn it around now. Company that just suddenly had a product blow the... Not the record button, Nick. It's not the record button. Why does it keep turning on, dude? Stop. Go off. Also, if you haven't had check... Also, kiss myself.